The leisure travel industry keeps pretending it's neutral, but travel is being politicized in real time. And the industry I'm a part of, is not ready. And so this is a call to action for the travel industry, and it heads up to you, the travel consumer. And oh, by the way, this week is Travel Week in NYC, and I'm posting this plea specifically now. This is when all of the travel industry leaders, destinations from around the world, their PR reps and top travel media descend upon New York City for a series of conferences and meetings. And I also want to say that last week, I was censored by a destination that asked me to not cover something after inviting me. It's crazy. I've been doing this for a long time. Never in my journalism career have I been told how to cover something. My flabbers were gasted, and I told their rep that they crossed an ethical line. And then they canceled my trip. Now, this wasn't a misunderstanding. That was an attempt to control editorial coverage in a moment when travel and geopolitics are colliding. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. We're seeing enforcement show up in places that travelers still think of as leisure. Now, a video I posted nearly 2 months ago about wildlife officers working for ICE is still getting traction. And this past weekend, a travel editor friend of mine shared that she was on a press trip and she was warned by their tour group that they were being monitored by federal agents. People are carrying their passport on domestic trips, not because of policy clarity, but because of fear. And my friends who are American born and raised, but are not white, who are covering certain stories are doing the same thing. Passports with them at all times. And then with those stories last week, the suspicious flagging and deactivation from US citizens' passports while they were traveling, no explanation, nothing officially confirmed, no public guidance, just enough consistency to raise real concern. And I've said this before, Brand USA, US Travel Association, we have a problem that we need to address. Now, what's impossible to ignore is who this is happening to and who it isn't. Now, I've talked to some white colleagues in travel journalism and PR. They haven't encountered any of this yet. Meanwhile, me, as a Black woman doing this work, I'm being asked to soften stories, avoid topics, or accept restrictions that violate basic journalistic ethics. And the story that I mentioned that happened to me last weekend, this was not the first time that something had been brewing like this. And there's some other friends who are in the industry who have shared other stories. I'm not going to share those details. It's up for them to share. But we've been keeping our eye on it and collecting the stories. Because at the end of 2024, I asked travel industry colleagues, specifically in PR, who ran these agencies, how they plan to operate under Trump 2.0. And the answer was almost universal. Business as usual. And the industry behaved that way for most of last year, except by mid-year, my production company was fielding a few calls. One in particular, a destination stands out. They were worried about the declining international visitors. Y'all know this is a big landmark year for the US. It's America 250, the celebration of this country's 250th year. It's also the 100th anniversary of Route 66, a road built on the promise of freedom of movement. How ironic. And there's other landmark things going on that have been in my inbox for the past almost a year and a half because these destinations are preparing for celebration. But is the celebration going to ring true or ring the same or have the impact that you expect because you're ignoring the biggest elephant in the room? Something has changed specifically with geopolitics. I remember talking to another PR client asking them December 2024, what's the plan? And they actually told me, this is important information for you to know. They said that they just do a harder pivot to luxury travel if regular leisure travel became unstable. Mouth dropped. That's not a strategy. That's avoidance. Guys, travel has never been separate from politics, borders, visas, surveillance, enforcement, access. We've just been incredibly privileged with our passport, and it's just been so easy. The difference now is that the consequences are landing right at our feet. So here's the real question. What's the plan when leisure travel and geopolitics stop pretending that they're separate? There is a collision happening, and I can only predict it's going to rapidly increase on all fronts because ignoring it doesn't protect the industry. It doesn't protect travelers either. So y'all, what are we going to do?